When you're in conflict with somebody, a great question to ask yourself is, how do I want this to end? How do you want this interaction to end? Now, maybe this interaction is a sales negotiation and you're selling a transactional product and you're the seller. And this person's never going to buy from you again. And so whether they buy from you this time or not, it's a one-shot deal and you're not very invested in this relationship. So you might not care how this ends. And so it might be just, look, if they want what you have, they buy it. If they don't, that's okay too. You're not mad. You're just going to get on with your life. But maybe let's take it up a notch. Maybe you sell something that someone would be doing with you over and over. Maybe you're a realtor. And if you do a good job on this house, they might buy another house from you down the road, or maybe they would refer you to people and get you more clients. Well, how do you want that one to end? Probably you care a little bit more now. It's probably not so quick to just go, well, whatever, go my way, you go your ways. Either we agree or we don't, no hard feelings. Now you're probably going to, regardless of the quote winning and losing of the negotiation, you're going to want that other person to feel pretty good, because you're going to want them to do another deal with you and you're going to want them to refer you. So let's take it outside of business for a minute. What if it's a conversation with a close friend or a relative or even your spouse? How do you want that conversation to end? Because for sure there's an ongoing relationship there. This is not a repeat transaction, and it's certainly not a one-off transaction. This is a relationship that's going to go on, and you both want to leave it that you can come back another day. You don't want to burn that bridge in a way that you can't come back the next day, in a way that it might be okay in that one-off transaction situation. So ask yourself, try to step back, ideally before you go into the conversation, but hopefully at least during the conversation, you can stop, take a deep breath, and think to yourself, how do I want this to end? Because it's unlikely, if you want it to end in a way that both people feel good and you can have this ongoing relationship, it's unlikely that you can both win and have a good outcome. You're probably not going to win in terms of the other person losing, and you have an ongoing relationship. Now, that doesn't mean you need to concede everything and just roll over and give that person whatever they want, but you also probably don't want to win at all costs. You probably want to watch what you say and not just say whatever is coming to mind. You probably want to get a pretty strong filter so that you don't do lasting damage. How do you want this to end? Do you want it to end that you win and can feel good about winning, even though now you've broken or damaged a relationship that you're going to have to face tomorrow or the next day, or maybe even in an hour or in 5 minutes? Or do you want to say, I'm willing to give a little bit to have this relationship go on? Now let's go back to those sales relationships. Are you willing to give a little bit in that house sale realty example? Are you willing to give a little bit in order to have the other person feel good and want to do business with you again and want to refer you? And even back to the transactional sale, how important is it that you win, that you get the best of it, that you get the most, that you don't leave any money on the table? How important is that to you? It might be very important, but it might not be. And if there's even a possibility that there could be another transaction or there could be referrals in there, well, then you probably want to do things a little bit differently than just flat burn the bridge and who cares, whatever happens, happens. So when you're in those conversations, when you're in those situations where there's conflict, and if you're a human being on planet Earth, you're going to be in a situation with conflict at some point, probably multiple times, probably almost every day for the rest of your life. So make sure you're stepping back and asking yourself, how do I want this to end? And even better, before you go into those situations, ask yourself, how do I want this to end?